This podcast episode is an excerpt from my recent Cycles 2.0 multi-day event. On day 3, we talked about your relationship with time. If you like what you hear and you want to access the rest of the Cycles 2.0 event, you can head to the podcast show notes and access the replays there. You are in relationship with everything. You are in relationship with time and you're also in relationship with money, just like you are the people in your world and the people and strangers that you are meeting on the screen today. Okay. And I find that time and money are people's two biggest objections to anything in life. And there's a couple of phrases that you might say that hold you back that I would rather not hear you say. I pulled someone up on it this morning. Okay. And if you want to share in the chat what your relationship is with time and money, then feel free to. So the two phrases that I often hear people say is, I don't have time, or I don't have the money, I can't afford it. And I'm like, don't say that. It's not healthy for you. You're creating an energy leak. Okay. And at the same time, again, I'm reading the deeper story and I'm like, the life you're living is very incongruent to what you were telling me. Now, again, you have heard that things are very nuanced in my world. If we apply this to the world of health, a lot of people who have got chronic or complex health issues, but we can expand this into other facets of life as well. But in the realm of health, quite often people find that healing becomes a full-time job, that they are in appointment overwhelm, driving to appointments, sitting in the appointments, spending money on appointments. And not only that, they decide to take things into their own hands and they create a self-care routine. But this self-care routine starts to become very rigid. So yesterday when we talked about your nervous system, your body, and how you uh, apply yourself to your horse and therefore your life, is that some of you may have realized, actually, I'm coming from a very controlling place. I'm in stage 1 of my healing. I am seeking safety. Pain is high. Fear is high. I'm looking for external validation. And so I'm just going to find safety in doing all of these things. So you realize that you're coming from a fix-it energy. Remember, whether you're working with your emotions or you're working with manifestation of the good stuff, your intention and your energy is very important. Okay. So did you realize that you're actually controlling things? Just check in with where you're at in an effort to stay safe. Now, when it comes to working on your health, I notice that a lot of people get hyper focused on their health. Now, some people get hyper focused on their business. Some people get hyper focused on their relationships. Some people get hyper focused on their money. So we're just using health as an analogy. And what I love about emotional work is that it addresses all facets of life: health, relationships, career, money, your social structure, your personal growth, and your spiritual connection. So I want you to just check in again. I've been asking this multiple times, is to ask yourself if the things that you're really doing, that you're spending time and money on, are they actually helping you? Do you feel better? Are you noticing a change in your external life? Or is it actually just keeping you in a holding pattern? And something that I touched on yesterday is that the thing that was meant to set you free, the stuff that you do in stage 1 when you're seeking safety, the emotional work, taking the painkillers, whatever it might be, getting the support, the conventional, the alternative, the thing that was meant to set you free can sometimes become the thing that keeps you stuck, especially if you're trying to navigate this journey on your own. Okay. So let's see what's come up. Kendall, I found it so interesting on this health journey as I feel like my currency in life used to be money, then time, and now it's energy. Yeah, so cool. I've got this on the cards for you today. Flavia, I'm curious, Flavia, where you're tuning in from. I have a lot of time. I have more than enough resources. Great. That's your relationship with time and money. I love that. Zabi, yes, the things I am doing are helping a lot with heart coherence and embodiment. Sorry, Flavia, I'm asking that because you sent a message saying, I can't put my country in with the mobile. So, I always wonder like how I've been able to expand my capacity and where I attract people from. So I've never had someone from Mexico on the call. So welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Very cool. Okay, so I have a little example. I've got lots of stories of how people spend time and money out of pain versus out of pleasure. Because I took you on a journey this last 3 days on a journey from pain to pleasure. So when I used to be an osteopath, it was a very common condition that used to come in, which was we call it the crick in the neck. So we call it a facet sprain technically, but no one understands that. So it's like when the neck gets jammed up and you literally can't move it. You have to like turn your whole body to get around. And so someone might get this little crick in their neck and they wake up in pain. They actually knew that it was brewing, but all of a sudden they wake up in pain. Maybe it's pain in their jaw, they've got a headache, and they can't go to work. So they're employed. They have to go and pay to go to the doctor. They have to spend their time getting a medical certificate when they would be better off resting. They're now paying to go see the osteopath, me. They're taking their time to get to the appointment, time in the appointment, spending money on that. And I can sort it out within 3 sessions. Okay, I can get on top of it. I usually do a quick manipulation, crack the neck, loosen off the muscles with some needles or my hands, and they can feel better within that day. Now, the body is amazing at compensating. So even though I can deal with the issue on a physical level, there is still stuff underlying, even though the person feels better. And so I usually recommend them to come back, so 3 times in total in the first week to 10 days, and I can help them feel better. Okay, but you can already hear like the time and the money spent. And as an osteo, you would see people that were more geared to come and see you because of pain. They waited to that point. And then I would say, okay, this is good. And if it's your first time, let's just leave it. But if someone knows that they get this 3 or 4 times a year, I say, okay, now that you're out of pain after the first session and we've gotten on top of these restrictions and this muscle tension and we're teaching your body to be different, let's spread your treatments out slowly. Let's go to 10 days, 2 weeks, and then eventually we spread it out further. And maybe they could come in every 4 or 6 weeks. But what happens is that if you follow that advice, that really great advice, you end up coming to see the osteopath once for pain, and maybe over the course of the year, you have a total of 12 treatments, but 11 of them feel good. And you get to stay at work, you get to live life, and so on. But what do most people do? They do the thing that makes them feel good. And once they feel good, they forget what the pain was like, and they go off. 3 months later, same thing happens. It was brewing, they get tight in the neck, they wake up with a crick in their neck, can't move, pain in the jaw, shocking migraine this time. And if they're employed, they're taking sick leave. Maybe they've run out of sick leave now and now it's unpaid leave. So money's not coming in and it's also going out. They've got to go to the doctor again. They've got to get a medical certificate. Now, if you're not employed and you're an entrepreneur and you're doing contract work, you got to cancel your clients. You got to deal with another level of that. Money might not come in. Okay. And then you're spending time going to see the osteopath again. On top of that, you're not really enjoying life because you've got a migraine and you've got pain. And so you're missing out on other things that could be happening in the day. So, same cycle goes through again. I crack it. I can help you a little bit with the muscle tension. I can sort you out within 24 hours. And then, did we learn from last time? Let's spread your treatments out after the third treatment. And most people will not do this. They operate out of pain, they react to pain versus seeking out these modalities for pleasure to simply keep them well, keep them feeling good, keep them at work, keep them earning money from the beautiful service that they have to offer. So there's the person that reacts and responds out of pain, and they come into the osteopath 4 times in the year in pain. Every season, if you have 4 seasons in your country, every season, every 3 months, they have this crick in their neck and they're reacting out of pain. 12 sessions paid for to react to pain versus you know what has helped you feel good. And instead of just going, right, I'm going to throw that out the window, you keep doing the thing, but you allow the conversation, you allow the treatment to evolve. So sometimes it was that now they're not in pain, they could actually hear my words, they could hear my coaching. We were going deeper into other areas of life. Okay. So can you see how the energy of time and money spent is very different when it's in pain versus pleasure? And this is one of the greatest stories that osteopathy has given me out of almost 20 years in that industry. Did that make sense though? I need some external validation here. Okay. All right. So what are the other ways that we can do this? I've got more stories for you. Now, time can become an excuse for people. People say, I don't have time because I work. Thanks, Melody. I don't have time because I work. I work full time. Okay. You don't have this situation, Jen. I work full time. And then they're in conversation with me and I barely say anything. And they go, oh, actually, I could work part time. I could go down to 2 or 3 days, but then I'll have to earn less. And I'm like, you got the first part right, second part wrong. No, just like, why do you think that you have to work less and earn less? All right. This is not my world. The amount of people that I have been able to help step back from employed work, so working for someone else, or step back in their own business and create more, earn more is amazing. And that's part of Vanessa's story. I've got multiple stories like this as well. And people, let me share a few stories with you actually. So I remember a lady Swaz that I worked with, and she really wanted to do this work with me, but she's like, I work full time. I'm not going to be able to make it to the calls. And that's where I say to people, you're going to work it out. You either make it happen or you don't. So she starts coming to my calls and she's working from home on the Wednesdays that one of my calls is. And then she starts working from home 2, 3 days a week. She doesn't even need to go into the office. Not only that, if we look back on her journey, I'm no longer working with her now, but I still keep in touch with her. Over 5 years, she was able to double her salary. And you know what? She has no qualifications. She has no certifications. She is just good at what she does, and she probably works a job of 5 to 10 people. So she's become really valuable to that company. And she's got a lot of flexibility as well. She's also the same lady that decided that she wanted to live near the water and reactivated an old vision through the work that we were doing. Okay. And then, yeah, we've got Vanessa's story, but she's going to share it more in full and take you on the journey, which is pretty cool. She's also just cut down from 40 hours a week to 20 hours a week and earning more than she ever did. So people don't realize that they can influence time through emotional work. Now, there are some things that are a little bit set. My example of this is that a cake will have a recipe and it needs to be baked at a certain temperature for a certain amount of time. Now, we know this, but some personalities, like myself, will go, I need this cake done a little bit quicker. Maybe if I turn the temperature up, maybe if I push and drive with my masculine energy and I get in there and interfere with it, I'll get my cake quicker. But what happens? You turn the temperature up, you put too much energy into it, you get a burnt cake on the outside, maybe a little bit cooked, and then it's all gooey on the inside. And you've just wasted your time even making that cake. All right? You got to throw it in the bin. Or maybe you could have just saved time in the first place and gone to the shops and bought that cake. Okay. Time and money. How are you going to save your time? Sometimes it's through delegation. Sometimes you do pay to create more time as well. So sometimes we can push, push, push with this masculine energy when we actually just push the thing out of our life. Okay. We push the people away. We push the opportunities away because of our energy, because of our intention, masculine, feminine energetics. So time can be collapsed and time can be expanded. Okay, so when I say time can be collapsed, we use time as an excuse. People go, I just need to give myself time. And I step back and I go, well, I'm pretty sure there's some simple things that you could do to have this come into your life quicker. And yes, there are some things that you can't influence. And you can also expand time. So who feels like sometimes time just goes far too quickly, right? So I'll give some practical examples of this because emotional work is here to expand your capacity and give you space for opportunities to land. It is here to help you when the momentum speeds up, and it is here to help you to make decisions based on your values. Because when all these opportunities start coming through, some of them are not going to be aligned for you. Some of them are going to be the universe testing you. Do you really want what you desire? Okay, so you've got to know what your values are. You've got to know what to say yes to, what to say yes to. That is what boundaries are as well. And you've got to be decisive. Okay, I see some smiles happening, so I want to see what's happening in the chat. Melody, or you make it a point in your life where you realize if you don't create the time and find a way, then you won't have capacity for anything. Yes. So one of my big things I'll say is that if you don't make decisions, your body will make decisions for you. Other people will make decisions for you, which usually is a little bit annoying on reflection, or your life is going to make decisions for you. So some of you who are experiencing, and I know it's not all of you in the room today, who are experiencing health things that have literally nailed you where you can't do anything, there is always a gift in this pain, in this challenge, the thing that is just stopping you from living life. And sometimes it's not until you don't have the things in your life that you realize how much of a different relationship you could have had, how much more appreciation. Now, I saw my friend post something the other day to her daughter. I have to let her know that I use this. So she's trying to teach her daughter to do her own laundry. And so she put it in the wash, she put it in the cycle. The cycle was done. And then she said, "Did you hang out your clothes?" And she said, "No." And she's like, "One day I'm going to die, and you're going to have to learn how to hang your laundry." And I have an Asian mother, and there's fu some funny reels and memes on the internet. It's like, one day I'm going to die, and you're going to be without me, and you will appreciate me. So again, how do you deal when things are taken out of your life? Because death is a real part of the journey as well. Like we joke about it, but it's real, and there's emotions with it as well. Okay, so the time and the money relationship is very intertwined. So I'm talking about time, but you're also already hearing me talk about money. And I actually share a lot. It's only been recently that I've started to share with you, like, how much have I spent on my horses? I shared about a commercial building that we had. And at the same time, I'm like, oh gosh, people are going to go, oh, you can afford a commercial building. That's why you live the life that you do. Okay. And I've got a story about that too. I feel a little bit of an awkwardness, and I have hidden behind groups of people that I've worked with, and only they get to know how much do I generate, how much do I earn, how much do I spend in a very, very transparent way. So this is new for me to start to actually put myself out there and tell you how much I spend on my horses, tell you how much, we bought a commercial building for, and so on. And if you want to ask me, I'll tell you more. But at the same time, I'm like, I hope people are getting the full context of this, and I hope they're not misunderstanding why I'm sharing this.